Hello everyone, welcome to More Voyage. Thank you for agreeing to be a part of this panel discussion. This is the second in the series. We'll be looking at the Canadian IT sector, and what we are looking for is your perspective, coupled with real world examples and experiences, which will greatly enrich the conversation and provide the listeners, myself included, with a deeper appreciation of the industry's nuances. Over to you, Shitangshu.
Thank you, Indrani, and welcome everyone to More Voyage. So, this is where we talk about things that matter to an immigrant. We bring real people, real stories. So, picking up from where we left last time, so I'm continuing our panel discussion about the tech industry here in Canada, where subject matter experts you will be sharing your pearls of wisdom. And by the way, for the viewers who haven't seen our previous episodes, we will leave the link in the description below. Do check it out. Please let us know what you think. Drop your comment. Tell us how we could bring more value addition to you. And you know what? Don't forget to smash that subscribe button. Press that bell icon. Cool. Now, with that out of the way, let's kick off with Indranil. So, Indranil, tell us probably in a layman term, like I'm a 5-year-old kid, about your tech domain that you have worked in, the application areas, and how it affects our daily lives.
Thank you. I'm really happy to be here. And if I can help someone, that will be even better. So, to start off, what I do here, I'm a quality analyst. I do,
Okay.
I check quality and I do automation of applications to save time,
Okay.
to reduce manual labor, basically. And the domain I'm in right now, I'm into safety device. So the company I'm working for right now, they're building safety devices which make all worker who are in gas detection industries, they can work safely. So we primarily interact with the sensor, and that data uh, which is being consumed in the sensor, it comes to us and give us the reading. That is
Okay.
what uh, the company I'm working for, they're doing.
Interesting. Okay. So quickly moving on to Anand. Anand, is your tech domain also dealing with something, about safety devices? How is it for you?
Oh, okay. Greetings to everyone. So, my domain, I think it will be quite interesting to everyone.
Okay.
Technically speaking, I'm a data warehouse specialist, and
Nice.
the tech domain is retail.
Okay.
So, when you are talking about retail, so I will have to touch base about two things. One, how products are coming into the stores, be it a
Mm-hmm.
big supermarket store or custom built stores or any specific stores.
Okay.
Right. The other thing is how products move between the stores or move in and out of the stores.
Okay.
Probably I will give you an example. So what I develop, support, implement, or my team does is we forecast for a series of products and decide how much product has to go into each of those stores in any each pin codes. For example, so take Walmart.
Right.
Right? So the company which I was working for is a toy manufacturing company,
Mm-hmm.
and everybody knows about Barbie dolls and Hot Wheels, right?
Right.
Right.
Absolutely.
So,
One of my favorite Hot Wheels. Yes. Of course, I know.
right. Okay. So what we do is we forecast how many Hot Wheels of a specific type or a category has to go into a, a specific Walmart store at what time,
Okay.
right?
Wow.
So, but at the back end, if you look at what we do is we take 15 years of history of the stores, products, timelines, special occasions, blah, 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 a lot of things. And there are a series of data science programs and
Okay.
manual custom built calculations that we do. Everything is bound together to come up with the number of products that the store has to own in order to sell them.
Got it.
And I have to make sure at least 90% of what I say is achieved.
Achieved, right.
First thing. Second thing, recently I'm working on planning solutions as well. So when I say
Okay.
planning, it is a detailed a line of work what a company staffs do for 2 years at least.
Okay.
Right. So the recent client which I am working for is the Lululemon Athletica company where they sell all the yoga pants.
Right,
So
right.
if some product has to hit the store for this Christmas, believe me, it has been planned 2 years back. And the products are designed, sent to the manufacturing units 1.5 years back. Manufacturing happens for a year, shipping, and this whole planning happened for 2 years. Right.
Wow.
So that is the kind of domain I work for. And North America, if you take North America, so every single retailer does big
Absolutely.
stores, small stores, but the way how they implement is a little different. But technically, this is what people do, or even those corporates do.
Interesting.
Very
So,
interesting.
so moving to Riti. So Riti, is your domain as well? Is it something similar to Anand's where you are doing demand forecasting, you're doing supply chain management? Give us a sense of it, please.
Yeah, hi Shitangshu and hi everyone. So I am working on Pega. It's a tool, it's a Java-based tool, and I'm a developer. So my experience is of around 12 years in Pega development now.
Wow.
So yeah, and so currently I am working for insurance domain.
Okay.
But I have also worked in BFS, that is banking and financial services, earlier in the beginning of my career. So for both of them, so Pega is basically a tool which helps to create applications based on needs of different organization and different domains. So it caters to the needs of business process management, like if you have any process for approval or workflows, like suppose you want to create a bank account. Okay, so for that you submit an application, and whatever background processes are included, yeah, and whatever checks need to be done and whatever approvals are involved, so all that can be built through Pega, and that is called the business process management as a whole. So so I have mostly worked on business process management. So and Pega also caters to CRM needs, which is customer relationship management. So I haven't worked on that. So yeah, that's the thing. So mainly my experience has been on working on different like approval flows and stuff like that. In insurance also we have like if a broker calls and they ask for some quotation, and then we provide them the details by doing some calculations, and then after that they confirm whether they want to go with like create a policy with the organization or not. So for
Okay.
all that, we have been using Pega in our company, and so yeah, that is mostly it for me. So yeah.
Yeah. Okay. All right. So
Very
moving
interesting.
to absolutely. Even on my side of a bank, of course, we work on something similar as well. But um, there are certain teams who do use Pega, and then there are other teams who are also again using um, to manage accounts, to origination management or accounts management, if I may say so. Even other tools are also being utilized. Moving to Sourav, I know Sourav, you have worked with Pega as well before.
Yeah.
Give us give us a lowdown on that as well.
Okay, so my experience is also similar to that of Riti. So
Okay.
I have almost now 20 years of experience in Pega. So to briefly
Wow.
talk about my background, so I got my first job in 2004, Cognizant in Chennai, and then and that was in mainframes. So once
Okay.
that project got over, we had the opportunity to search for a project within the organization. So
All
more
right.
than searching for a good project, my motivation how I can go back to Calcutta. So I got an opportunity in Pega. At that time, nobody knew what Pega is. So what I decided, okay, let's go to Calcutta. Then I will get a job in a proper technology or something. Let's try that. So, but once I started working, I realized that I'm pretty much lucky that I got in Pega because it had a lot of potentials.
Okay.
Like it was just starting at that time. It started at 2000, around 2000 or something, 2004. It was still new, pretty new. So from that time till now, I have only worked in Pega mostly, and some UI like JavaScript, CSS, Java. So mostly
Okay.
I've worked with most of the big banks and the BFS uh, domain.
Mm-hmm.
So as Riti already explained, it's a business process management tool,
Mm-hmm.
and whatever process business follows, we can automate that through the Pega software.
Okay. All right. So in a way, you kind of had hit a jackpot, I believe so, in that
Yeah, you can say
in
that.
that in that process. Okay.
Yeah.
Moving to Avirup, I know Avirup, even you're also in a similar tech domain. Please tell us about it.
Sure. I think Sourav and Riti covered most of the stuff about Pega. So I'll give you a view from a different angle from my point of view as well. So yeah, like I have also worked for Pega. Pega. So let me tell you what Pega is. Pega is a tool, a Java-based tool, like Riti said. But the reason we people or organizations use Pega is because it's a very easy tool to learn, as well as it's a tool with which, let's say, if you're building the same thing, you're creating an application, right? By application, I mean like, let's say you're seeing you're viewing a website, you're having an application on your desktop, whatever it is, right?
Mm-hmm.
So let's say you want to build it using Java or any other core technologies, right? Like using Java or C++ or .NET, whatever it is, it can be done. It's not something very unique. But the USP of Pega, where it comes in, is time to market. What I mean by that is something if you're which you're building with Java, and it will probably take you a year or so. You can get the application out to the market with Pega within a month or so. So
Wow.
that's how fast it is. So mainly because you are hearing the reason you're hearing a lot of us are working in BFSI with Pega is because uh, it's a costly product. So not all organizations or companies can afford it. So
Right.
that's why we see a lot of like users of Pega in the BFSI domain, which is the banking and financial sectors and insurances, right? There are other companies or organizations as well in telecom sectors like Vodafone, AT&T, and all. You
Okay.
have some healthcare providers as well using it. You even have some organizations like Ford, right?
Okay.
So they also have similar kind of need of process management, or say, for example, CRM, which is like customer relationship management, right?
Management.
So let me give you a small, brief background of what those two are. BPM or business process management is like Riti and Saurabh said. It's basically, let's say you are opening a new account in your bank. It's the entire process. You submit your form, right? And from there on, whatever happens in the back end, the banking people, the back office people go in, they set up your account, they do a background check for you, right? Everything.
Right.
Another example would be, let's say for Amex, right? American Express. On their side, if you go and check if you are eligible to get a card, right? Credit card. What Amex will give you is the option to check your eligibility and which card you're eligible for, right on the website. It's all within I think it's a 60 seconds process, right?
Kind of a decision-making process is happening in that.
Exactly. So you fill in your details, you hit submit, check my eligibility, and it'll give you entire thing. That entire process will take just 60 seconds. And in the back end, so it's just 60 seconds for you, but in the back end, it does your bureau check, it does your credit check, everything, right? So this entire process you can think of as a business process management, right?
So different APIs are also getting connected to it.
Definitely.
That's what I'm assuming here.
Yeah, definitely. So there are different, so in the back end, they're calling different systems, different bureaus to make your credit check and all, right? Coming to CRM, it's the customer relationship management. It's basically the call centers, right? So let's say, for example, you call customer care. The customer care representative or the agent picks up your call. That's when the application starts its work. As you go through, the agent takes your request, verifies you, right? Authenticates you, makes sure it's really you, it's not someone impersonating you. It takes all your details, then it takes in your request. You might need you might need to put in some small request as simple as like updating your address, right? So that's also something that the CRM tools does. And trust me, there are multiple BPM and CRM tools out there in the market. But yeah, Pega is also one of them. So that is what Pega is doing right now.
Wow. Well, we'll definitely have an opportunity to discuss, like Sourav said, about how lucky he was landing in Pega and how easy it is to learn. We'll have those opportunities to discuss throughout the part of our discussion. Moving on to Pritam. Pritam, what are your thoughts about the tech domain that you are working in? How is it affecting our lives? Please tell us about it.
So I have been a QA engineer I have like 12 plus years of experience right now. Most of it, the initial 9 or 10 years was in banking, where I have worked with like US banks predominantly, like JP Morgan Chase as a consultant. And we were mostly testing the online application, like the Chase online application. Basically, it's like any net banking application that consumers use, and then also like digital wallet integration, which was a very interesting thing. I felt like at that time, Apple Pay, Google Pay, and then PayPal, how those integration works with your banks. I think that was a very interesting thing that I worked on. And then moving to Canada, I worked with RBC as a consultant again. There it was most on the commercial side of things. Canada was going through, or still is going through, probably on a payment modernization path. And there, how the commercial or the industrials are using the payment services with the big banks. There was one product that we were working on, how it impacts daily life. It's like institutions use them to run their payrolls or to pay large customer base, something around that. For the last 2 years, though, I have moved out of banking and I've taken up a new thing like on Alexa, which I think everyone is pretty much familiar with. So it's an AI assistant, AI voice assistant, which has been challenging in its own ways, because all this while we know, like, we code one thing, it has a defined set of rules, but as an AI voice assistant, it doesn't follow all the set of rules like that. So it does bring a lot of new challenges in terms of how we approach the testing, how we create the test strategy over it, and like what are the sensitive content issues that we find, and what are some of the hallucinations that we see. So a lot of new aspects, I would say, but that's pretty much what my experience has been so far.
Interesting. So is this something like a neural network based kind of a tool, or
absolutely. Yes. So Alexa works, it has multiple layers of neural networks, starting from how it recognizes your voice, and then how it identifies your voice even when there are like 10 different people or music playing, and it still recognizes your voice, and how that voice gets translated into a natural language understanding process. And then there are domains, like if you're requesting for movie details, if you're requesting for like a sports update or something like that, right? In that case, it picks up or it gets the response from those particular domains, and then it transfers that text into a voice, and that's how you get the response. It happens in milliseconds. Of course, there's a huge process that goes behind it.
So if I have to summarize it, this is like a lot of neural networks, a lot of NLP, and lots of APIs getting connected.
Yes, if you have to put it in a nutshell, yes.
Okay, cool. Nice. I just love this. I mean, this is like QA. I'm seeing Pega. I'm seeing a lot of data integration out here. Okay, over to you, Indrani. I know you have a lot of questions there, so go for it.
Yes. Firstly, I would like to say it's so amazing to hear tech experts, talking so passionately, pitching so correctly their domain. How can I talk about IT industry and not talk about job prospects? So here you go. Like, what is the present and the future of your domain in Canada? Pritam, you can go first because you were the last previously. Yeah.
Yeah, sure. I think I'll start off with the knowledge that I have on the banking side of things. I mean, QA is definitely an integral part of the whole SDLC process. So that remains there, but it's also evolving at the same time. And I think Indranil touched upon it a little bit earlier as well in terms of how automation can be useful. So there is less and less manual and more on the automation side. And definitely the job prospect is big. It's not just I would say it's not just about knowing your technical skills, right? Of course you are supposed to know your technical skills because that's your prime bread and butter, but what you need to understand, or if someone's new to this world, like I think having that domain expertise or having that domain knowledge, right? Like how the business works or how the payment works and what impact does it have to real customers or real lives, I think that makes a huge difference. And overall, like just comparing between US and Canada, like the payment services are way behind in Canada, to be honest. Like I've worked predominantly in the US, but in the Canada sector, what I've seen is there is a huge scope of improvement, and people are working on it, to be honest. So there, I do see a lot of growth in it, and I mean, QA is just a part of it, right? Like it's a very integral part of it, but just overall, the banking and payment industry would definitely see a lot of uprise as well going forward, especially in Canada. And regarding the recent work that I've been doing with Alexa, I think not just specific to Alexa, but anything related to AI or related to LLMs, large language models, I think there will be more and more applications built on large language models, as we can all see with ChatGPT and a lot, like plethora of other tools that are using these large language models. So what I have personally experienced is like there is a shift in the QA role. It's not just about thinking of how I can test this, but a little bit more than that. And I'll just give a hint on like something like prompt engineering is something that if someone is new to QA and or is interested in this particular space, prompt engineering is good. And it's not like there are dedicated prompt engineers who are doing it. Like in your daily life, in your QA life also, you may be using it. So these are my takes. And I mean, both the banking and this AI space is definitely going to increase, and Canada has a lot of work going on in it.
That's hopeful. Swiftly moving on to Indranil.
Yeah, to continue from where Pritam left, because he and his domain and my domain matches a bit. So, yeah, the domain I work for is IoT, and his also is IoT. So, IoT, I believe, will be very important in the future. Everything will be connected going forward. So, in that way, a QA role will be always there, and the scope will always be there, but we need to keep on learning new stuff. Many new tools come out in automation. Initially, when I started with Selenium Java. Now I'm working with Selenium Python. I'm working on 2 3 prototypes that is also with JavaScript and Playwright. So there will be new things coming up. You always have to be uh, uh, always have to have that knowledge all the time. You have to be updated to be relevant in the market. There will be jobs, so that should not be a problem. Yeah.
So that's good news, always,
Yeah.
for anyone even wanting to immigrate. Riti, tell us the present and the future of your domain.
Yeah, so for Pega, I would say, so initially I started with Pega 5.5. So, and currently it's in its 8 version. Our current applications are on 8.4. So I would, the reason I'm saying is, saying this is because Indranil said like we should be updated every day. We should update ourselves. So this is one of the keys. So even if we had done certifications in the earlier versions, the learning never stops. We have to continue that. But yeah, for the Pega domain, I would say when we started, so there was a time when we used to think that, okay, Pega probably will be replaced by some other BPM tool uh, because of its huge licensing cost. Many companies are not able to afford. But the way they have upgraded themselves and the new capabilities that they have incorporated in all of the new versions. So Pega has not actually gone out of the market, and more companies are willing to work with Pega. But the only thing is the cost factor. Uh, but yeah, currently with this domain, I would say if we specifically focus on the job markets, so based on what, like when I came to Canada in 2017, and what is now in currently for the job markets, I can see like yeah, everything has slowed down. It's not just for Pega, but the job market is not so good currently. It's a bit slow, but it's not just specific to Pega. I think it's it's for other domains as well, probably. But yeah, for our specific domain, there are less jobs and more demands. So we can say like, yeah, companies require resources as well, but they might not have the budget right now. So they are doing a lot of cost cutting as well. So yeah, there is a bit, the situation is a bit challenging right now. But yes, like Pega is progressing, and in near future, there is no way that Pega can be uh, Pega can go out of market, or like someone else can replace Pega totally. We don't foresee that as of yet. So yeah, it's a slow progress, but the progress is there.
Thank you so much for sharing that insight. Moving on to another Pega expert, Sourav.
Yeah, my opinion is also similar to Riti's. So if you see, Pega's growth in Canada has been really tremendous. Like, uh, if we can say that these 5 banks, big banks, those are arguably they probably control the Canadian economy, right? So, and all of them use Pega. And banks, business is simple. They work on spreads and products and fees. So spread, I mean, it's the difference between the lending interest rate and borrowing interest rate. So banks will pull money from customers like us who put the money in the bank, and they will lend it to business people and charge a high interest to them. So there is no dearth of money for them. They will always be cash rich. And the products and fees, they will come up with new products every time to entice customers, and then they will impose fees and fines on them, and again money will flow in. So to get all these things done, you have to fine tune your products, current products, build new products, and Pega is helping them in building products much more fast compared to other technologies. So it is going to stay for long. And there are many frameworks also which Pega provides, like smart dispute, where you can raise a concern for your some fraudulent activity on your cards, and which used to take long time. Now it's maybe very few days turnaround to resolve those issues. So yeah, there will be jobs, but yeah, as Riti pointed out, currently the market seems to be a bit slow, all because of this fear of recession or the interest rate, bank interest rate going up, mortgage. There's a fear of defaults, homeowners doing defaults. So because of that, maybe we are on seeing some downsize, but market will be good in the future.
That's good. That's hopeful. So we'll hear it from all the three Pega experts in one go. So Avirup.
Yeah, I think Sourav and Riti kind of hit the nail on the head. To be like blunt, Pega job market is not very good right now. And it's, of course, for the economic situation that we are in, right? But there are good news and the bad news. The bad news is that it's not good right now. The good news is it will definitely pick up and be huge again in the future. Another good thing that happened among the all horrible and the bad things during the COVID time was so Pega's clients or users or organization that uses Pega, those are mainly based out of US. There's a chunk in the UK or the European region, but the major chunk or the majority of the organizations that uses Pega around the world is situated in the US. So what happened during the COVID time is a lot of them shifted from their on, like having people at their site, which is the on-site model, to nearshore model, which is not having people sitting in the US paying them a huge amount of dollar salaries, but having people near the shore, like near US, like in countries like Mexico, Canada, giving them good salaries according to the countries or the locations they're at, but a lot less compared to what they would have to give in the US, right? So that nearshore model has picked up a lot from the COVID. So a lot of organizations had switched from onshore to nearshore. So that kind of generated a lot of Pega jobs in the Canadian market as well. And but back when we started, or like even before, probably when Sourav started, Pega was a niche skill. Like only a handful of people you would find would know Pega, right? But as the times have progressed, there's a flurry of Pega resources of people who know Pega, right, coming out in the market. But at the same time, we have to keep in mind that the players that are using Pega, or the organizations that are using Pega, that's not, like increasing at that pace. So because of mainly of the high cost of the product, the licensing cost. So there is in fact that huge supply flow in the market. The situation is looking really dire at the time because of the slowdown. But even when the market picks up, there will be a lot of people available to apply for the jobs. So yeah, you still have to be like on the top, like updated, like to the time to really land a good job. But yes, at the same time, there is a demand short or supply shortage of good people who know Pega. So if you're good, you'll definitely get a job.
Thank you for the insider's perspective here. Last but not the least, Anand, tell us about the present and the future of your domain?
It's retail, so no doubt about it. So the US retail market is more than 600 billion, and the Canadian market is around 500 billion. Right? So retail will not go away, starting from FMCG or if it is pharma or any other retail products that we have. So what I am seeing is retail has a very good presence at the moment, and also there is a lot of shift happening on all the retail industry for the future. So I'll try to keep it short. Uh, I was working on, I'm working on data warehousing solutions, right? So, and also the planning. So let me split it out. If uh, if a resource or if immigrant who is good as a data engineer and who is good in data warehousing or integration solutions with a mid-level experience, say 8 years or 10 years, they will definitely get a job in a month, right? So that is the current situation. But integration solutions, who is having product level integration experience like Informatica or Pentaho or Talent, those things are shifting towards cloud. So earlier we had a big data warehouse database and the integration solution on the premises, but now everything is moving towards cloud. And also the processing, whatever has been implemented or were solutions, but now we are moving towards data science and MLs, right? So if I would have to say, any immigrant who has a very good data engineering experience on the cloud, be it AWS or Azure or GCP, definitely will get a job in a month or even short. And any data science engineer with at least 4 years of experience, you will come with a job, right? So that is how it is actually. So all the retail companies, they have moved towards cloud and also from the custom built solutions to the data science and ML applications, right? So I would say move away from the tools like Informatica, get experience, get the real-time experience with the cloud as a data engineer or integration specialist, particularly with Databricks or Snowflake technologies. We don't find resources on it, to be frank. So any good resource who has hands-on experience with a mid-level, lead-level positions, we are not getting resources. And on the other side, so I also working on the planning solutions, right? So planning was done using Excel. Even today, most of the companies or the planners, they use small tools or Excel to do their planning. But right now, in the last 4 years, we have got very good applications like Anaplan, OneStream, Board. So those are multi-dimensional planning solutions, which is getting a very good pace. And any architects or 5 years of experience in Anaplan, they have very good future here. And even the US companies, they are ready to hire people who work in Canada by C2C or by any other means, but because they're not getting the experienced Anaplan resources in the US, right? So retail, I think it is in the sweet spot, and I think it has very good future going forward.
So good to know that people in the retail world will be laughing to the bank. Over to you, Shitangshu.
Thank you, Indrani. I kind of realized that there is obviously, I mean, the situation is a bit dicey in the market. Sure, there has been layoffs, but then again, at the very same point of time, people who have experience, they are, or people who are good at their skills, of course, they have definitely a good shot at, grabbing those jobs. Um, and again, my next question is somewhere related to that only. So, say for example, if I am a newcomer, or I am here, and if I have to enter into your respective tech domains and plan on my future, so in a very brief manner, I would like to know what are those learning resources, things that I should, look into it, things that I should, grab as a knowledge? And is there any very, let's say, Canadian specific learning resource, not just learning resource, any other, job hunting resource, which comes to your mind? Probably let's start with Anand, since Anand, you were there on the last question there earlier. So let's start with you.
Okay, so let us split it into three. So for a less experienced resource, for a mid-level, and an architect.
Okay.
Right, so any immigrants who is coming into Canada with these three level of experience, I would say for a beginner who has say 1 or 2 years of experience, it will be little difficult to get a job here. Be it any of those technologies, what I said. But if it is a data science engineer, I think they have a bright opportunity here. And on the planning side, they will be having good one. Mid-level, as I said, 1 month or so. Architects, there is always demand for the architects, right? Right. And on the other hand, how do you get experience? Right? How do you search for jobs? How do you get yourself equipped with all these technologies? It's all on the cloud, right? So I would say we don't have a Canadian specific experience or any research is needed. So get expertise on the clouds. So it is all global, be it AWS or Azure, right? So they give free subscriptions for $250 just for an email ID. Create an email ID if you want to learn for 3 months. So you will have the VMs and all the cloud resources to go through or get expertise. And you have a lot of articles on the web, be it YouTube channels or what do you say, Udemy or even LinkedIn give all those courses for very less price. And I would say 70% of the courses are already available on the YouTube for free.
100%.
Yeah, so you can grab anything, but I would suggest go with whatever experience you have back home. So just build your career on top of that.
Okay. All right.
Yeah. So learning a new thing and getting a job here is a little difficult. So I've seen a couple of my friends and colleagues who tried to change their stream, found it a little difficult. But if you have prior experience and you are building on top of it, it is always good.
Okay. All right. Okay. So having that prior domain knowledge, having that prior experience, definitely helps you, push your case forward. That's what I'm getting. Okay. All right.
One more point I just forgot to say.
Sure.
Get certified both on the domain front and also on the technology side. So retail, there are a lot of retail domain certifications available on the market, either on supply chain or on the planning, all of those things. So you can choose one, get certified. Technology side, so everybody knows. And get at least the professional certifications done. So people here who are recruiting for new resources, they value the certifications. So if you say you are certified, then you have better chance than the others.
Okay, just a follow-up question on that, Anand. Just the way, say, you have GCP, and one of the basic GCP certifications would be getting the ACE certification, Associate Cloud Engineer, right? You mentioned about the retail certification. So if you had to give an example of that, that would be super awesome.
Okay, so even I don't have much of an information, but on the supply chain, there are certifications available on the specific streams.
Okay.
Say on demand forecasting and budget forecasting, there are separate certifications.
Okay.
For allocation replenishments, there are separate certifications available.
All right.
And on the planning side again, so there are certifications, but I don't remember, but I can share you those details.
That would be super amazing, so that we can share the same information with our viewers here, and you know what, we want them to get benefited with this conversation here. Very quickly, moving on to Indranil. Resources, learning, getting jobs, any Canadian specific thing. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, I think Anand has already given us the exact details what needs to be done.
Okay.
And in today's day and age, resource is everything is free. If you want to get it, you can search it in YouTube and you can get it.
Okay.
Udemy is there, so resource is there. You need to learn. So another point that I can continue from there, that if you're good, your skill, if you need to improve your skill set, if you're good, you will be uh, getting a job anyhow. So
Right.
there, you'll not be stopped from anything. If you're
Okay.
good at what exactly you are supposed to do, then you will get a job. And uh, yeah, I will say that the fresher will have some problem right now with the current scenario.
Right.
But apart from fresher, like if you are coming with some mid-level experience, and
Okay.
what you do it well, you'll get a job. And it is not like back home. Here in Canada, uh, certificates are actually important, but in my field, in my domain, not that there is not much of a certification requirement as of now. But a
Okay.
basic Java certification would help to say that, yeah, this guy knows Java. That will be
Okay.
good enough.
Okay. Even yesterday, in the previous episode, we were having this conversation that sure, certifications, it is definitely being considered here in Canada, but also equally your previous experience, um, your exact working knowledge, your domain knowledge is something which will help you shine in those job interviews which are there. And I think you have rightly pointed it out that, Indranil. Moving on to Pritam. Pritam, do you have similar thoughts like Indranil? Do you have very specific examples which you can give us about resources here?
Yeah, I think I do agree with some of the points that have already been mentioned. For QA specific, I don't think in particular there is any certification that has helped me so far, or that I have seen other colleagues has been helping or not. But in general, like a cloud specific certification, like take either of the cloud, like AWS, Azure, or GCP. I think that's a general certification, good certification to have in the IT world right now. And other than that, I think what I have primarily used is Coursera, Udemy. I personally
Okay.
prefer Coursera over Udemy just because of the format that they have,
Yeah.
and a lot of lead code, which is really important.
True.
So yeah, I think, and as a newcomer, what really helps, I personally haven't done that, but then I have heard other people who have benefited from it, is by attending those social events. Canada has a lot of events, tech events. You can go on Eventbrite and look for any tech events. Like Snowflake is having an event on December 5th and 6th. So anyone interested, you can look that up. I think uh, just not focus on the tech skills. Those are definitely important, but in this part of the world, building that networking and communication is super important. And by attending these events, whether it's a AWS reInvent or whatever event that you can find in your local area, I think those are really helpful to build that network and to connect. This takes just beyond your application through LinkedIn or any other platforms. So I find those things to be really helpful.
Nice. Yeah, I mean, this morning I was checking my LinkedIn and I just saw like 3 invites, all few from Snowflake
Yeah,
people.
yeah.
Nice, very nice. Swiftly moving to Avirup. Avirup, please take us.
Yeah, so let me split up into 3 categories like Anand did as well.
Okay.
So the first category, or the best possible scenario for someone to migrate here, is with a job. The second category would be for someone who has some experience.
Okay.
It can be any number of years back in their home country. They migrate here, but they're looking for a new job. They don't have a job yet, or someone who is looking to switch their technologies or switch domains. For them, as well as for the freshers, it will be a bit tough to start afresh in Pega specifically. The reason being, because Pega is a high license feed product, they don't release their materials out in the market for free. However, so they have their own website, their own page and their own website where they have a bunch of courses. And for someone who is starting afresh, you'll really need to get to know the stuffs in depth, because it also includes how the things work in the back end, not only what you do in the front, right? So, and without knowing those things, you'll definitely not land a job, not land any job at all. So you really need to get into the basics, at least, of how things work in the backend. Now, accessing that website and the study materials is costly. That's the first cost. The second set of cost would come with the certifications, and it's not really cheap. So it's expensive. So, but okay, so let me finish with the prospects of the freshers as well. Being a fresher is not easy at all over here. People or organizations do take freshers here, but it's very, very few, to be honest, because the organization would really need to spend a lot of money on that resource to get them trained in Pega, right? So they majorly prefer to upskill one of their existing employees from a cross domain or cross technology, or take in like experienced resource. That's much cheaper for them. But however, the thing I was coming to is you will find resources out in the market. Not if you Google. If you Google, you'll find bits and pieces, scraps here and there, some maybe a topic here and a topic or two here and there. That's all. It's not going to get you ready from scratch to good enough to land a job.
Got it.
However, you still have, what you can do is you still have the option of many people, individuals who are giving online courses. So what they do is there's a bunch of them run from India. What they do is they'll charge you a cost, and it's way, way cheaper than what it would cost you to go onto the site and purchase the study materials for yourself. They will charge you a fee. They'll give you thorough online courses. It'll be probably over like a few weeks, like 4 to 6 weeks, or even like 2 or 3 months. Okay, and that will get you ready, kind of, to give your first set of certifications. With your certification, what you can do is approach. Probably it would be a better idea for you to start with the contracting instead of full-timers, because full-time jobs here, they really grill you, they really roast you before taking you in, because they will know that they need to, like, whatever they're paying you, they need to get it back.
Obviously.
So so that's why it would be a good idea to start with a contracting. But even before going there, it would probably be a good idea for you to, once you get to know the things, do some proof of concepts, POCs on your own. There are personal editions available as well in the market, to try out what you have learned, to experience it firsthand, get your hands dirty before you even think of applying a job as a fresher in Pega.
Okay. I have a follow-up question on that, Avirup.
Sure.
You mentioned about proof of concept. So say, for example, if I were to make a ML algorithm to detect fraudulent activity on credit card, right? So I can make that algorithm and I can post that on GitHub. Can I do the same thing here as well?
So what you're saying is you want to do your proof of concept and post it somewhere?
Yes, I mean, think of it like showcasing the work that, hey, you know what? This is what I've studied. Again, from purely from a fresher's perspective, this is what I have learned. This is what I have studied, and hey, you know what? I have done a personal project, and I think doing a personal project is one of the best ways to um, not only learn but also to understand how to debug that entire script which is there, right?
Definitely.
So again, so from that perspective, I'm asking, can I showcase that work, say, on a website like GitHub?
Not probably on the GitHub, because to run Pega or to run the application using on Pega,
Okay.
you need the Pega platform.
All
So
right.
it's
Okay.
platform specific. That's why they have that license, huge
Got
license.
it.
So you'll probably not be able to put it on GitHub. What you can do is you do a proof of concept. And again, probably you'll not be able to do your example as a proof of concept because it will need multiple API calls, which you'll not probably get in a personal edition.
Right.
You can do small stuffs like a inventory management system, right? Where you like create a process flow and manage your inventories. You can do a simple stuff like a lead management system, even something
Okay.
which you do using a workday, right?
Right.
Same thing you can replicate in Pega. Do
Okay.
it over there, and you can like record it on screen,
Okay.
and get a video recording of it, and then you can showcase it anywhere. But you have to
In-
give them a disclaimer, I believe, that it's using a personal edition, not a fully licensed one.
Okay. I love that, Avirup. Thank you. Moving on to Sourav. What are your thoughts on this?
Yeah, mine is also similar. Like, actually, being in IT, for us, we are probably the few lucky ones who come to Canada with a job. Most of the other people, they struggle. They have to do some licensing and stuff before they land a job. So most of us come with a job in Canada,
Okay.
then slowly build it up on that.
Right.
So like the concept of on-site and all. So for me also it happened like that. We started. I came to TD. I worked with TD for some time. Then I decided to do contracting.
Okay.
So this job search, I personally have experienced the struggles of getting a job once I started getting working in contracting mode. So
Mm-hmm.
sometimes the contract ends. So now you are need to search for another job. So in that perspective, I give some ideas. Like there are some agencies which specifically help you in Pega
Okay.
jobs, which I have found.
Okay.
One is Beachhead.
Okay.
So another one is Procom. They are a very good agency. They can provide you jobs in Pega. Another is
Okay.
Modis. I have
Yep.
worked with all three of them. So they
Okay.
are really good. And what I have felt in Canada to get a job, most important is networking, networking, and networking. So
100%.
just go to LinkedIn, search for key people in your field in Pega. Uh, talk to your peers, the friends you have worked with, or friends who work in different companies. Ask
Right.
them about about their managers. Try to connect to them on LinkedIn.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe every now and then post something interesting about Pega in your LinkedIn profile. Like what are the upgrades, what new features are there in the latest version, or if you do something personally, like Avirup said, get your hands dirty, do a POC, do some kind of those work, uh, post them in LinkedIn. Don't have to give all the codes, just post your comments, what you tried to do, how you thought
Right.
about that should be enough.
Okay.
And once you land a job, beside these technology people, you also have to expand your network to business side, like understanding the key people who are in the business and try to grow your like rapport with them. So
Okay. Okay. So it is reaching out to agencies, networking with your peers, networking with seniors who have already worked in those areas and learning
yeah,
from them, and like Avirup earlier mentioned, showcasing those work as well. Okay, so moving on from Sourav, very quickly to Riti. Riti, what are your thoughts on the resources? Any Canadian specific resources for anyone who has to get into Pega? Very briefly, please tell us your thoughts about it.
Yeah, Shitangshu. So, for myself, I would like to share my experience when I came as an immigrant in Canada, because mine is a bit different from what Avirup and Sourav probably have covered. So, they both have covered all the resources that are available and how the new immigrants can access those, what are the ways. But I will share my specific experience, a specific scenario. So when I came to Canada, I came with Avirup as as a dependent in open work permit, and in open work permit it was not that easy. So at that time I was on my mat leave, and I came with a 6 months old in Canada, and I had to give her some time. So when she got like 1 year old, I started looking for jobs, and yes, I saw some job postings on Indeed, and I started applying for those. But what I found difficult here is because I had open work permit, uh, it was very difficult for me to get full-time jobs. And it was not that I was interviewed and then I was rejected. Seeing my profile that I am on open work permit, my uh, application was not even being considered. And I came to know about this because those applications actually I placed through referrals. So the person who referred me, they let them know that because I was on open work permit, I wasn't interviewed. So then what happened is I got this job opportunity that I am in this company for last 5 years. But when I started off, I didn't get into the Pega development. I couldn't actually. So there was no opportunity at that time in this company as a developer. But there was a support role, production support, which I never wanted to do. Honestly, I didn't like it. But at that point, it was matter of a job. And as a Pega production support person, I was interviewed in this company. And this one also had to go through a referral. So I really found it difficult without a referral. So my resume was referred through an ex-colleague of mine in Cognizant. So then, yes, I was interviewed for the role, and as I had quite a bit of experience in Pega development, so whatever they expected from the support role, I had more to give as I was very much into the Pega development. So yeah, I got the job right away. But yeah, so initially it was difficult for me to be in the support domain because that was something I never liked. That was something I never wanted to do. But yeah, I got used to it, and my focus was mostly like I kept on talking to my manager, my seniors, that what is the way I can go into like switch into my specific like development role. So and they told like you just perform on your job and like showcase the talent that you have. So like you give more than what is expected of your role, basically. So there were opportunities like that where I could let them know that yes, I am quite experienced in development and I am able to do that. So after like 2 years or so, after being in support for 2 years, so I could actually get into development in the same company. I switched myself from support to dev, and currently I am again back in development. So I think that's my whole journey as a someone who came in open work permit, and I have seen similar challenges people are facing with open work permit. It takes a bit. So when it is a PR, so everyone looks for a PR. So if it's a PR, then it is okay. Like companies do take people, and but with the open work permits, it's a bit difficult. If like in open work permit, since I was looking for a full-time job, it was more difficult. But yeah, if you want to start off as a open work permit person, probably it would be good to start with contracting.
Okay.
Contracting roles are still positions are still available, but it's very difficult to get full-time jobs. So I know people, like, still the market is difficult for open work permit persons, because they mostly come in as dependent of closed work permit, the ones who come in closed work permits, and that's why the companies do not rely on their status as such, because if the guy has to leave, then the dependent has also to go away. So that's the difficulty. Yeah.
Okay, thank you for that, Riti. I mean, that's a very unique perspective that you have brought into this discussion. And if I look at your journey, one thing sticks out amazingly well. It's your hard work and your tenacity.
Thank you.
And
yeah.
Thank you for sharing that personal story. I think this is exactly what we look for. Real people, real stories.
Real stories.
This
Absolutely.
is so personal, yet it is so relatable for everybody who comes with an open work permit. They go through a similar journey, perhaps, you know. So thank you so much, panelists, for being here. Thank you for sharing your valuable insights. We really appreciate what you have brought to the table. Thank you once again.